Google Tables. It is a new product from Google. It just came out of beta testing, so it is really new. It's really exciting. And I'm going to be talking about how I'm using it to do research for my licensing work. So if you go to Google, you Google Tables, you'll see two links there. I found it through the second link, but if you go to the first link, this is what you'll see. Looks a little sketchy, but it is a legit Google product, and that will take you to tables. Later on, you may be able to access it through other means. And this is what it is. It marries a spreadsheet with data, like a database, and really just helps you keep it all in one place, which is just been great for me. So you can see there the titles across the top, just like a typical spreadsheet. And you just handle it like a spreadsheet, but the difference is that you can integrate things into the spreadsheet that are really useful. So this first column I've labeled opinion, and basically I want this to be whether or not this company is for me. You can see there my labels are not for me, and A is actually not accepting, and then the green is yes. I went for the colors of a stoplight. And so that's just really to tell me, hey, this is a company you really like in my cursory first impression. Um, Obviously, if they're not accepting. And then not for me, the style's not mine. Um, the product area is not for me or whatever. So I changed that to opinion there. So the company, you just fill that out like normal. And you can see there, there are these little icons that go across the top that tell you what kind of column you have. So like this is a drop-down menu. You can put your options in there. This is for the product area that I am interested in. And so here to add a new one, you would just go in, hit that add new option, select your color, and hit OK. And so now when I go in, if it's a stationery company, if it's a toy company, whatever, I can just go in, click it, and it really is a good visual so that I can see, hey, I think my work is best suited for stationery, so I'm going to focus on these stationery companies now. And then to delete it is just as easy to go in and hit the X. Moving on over here, and here's where I talk about this as a voiceover. These different little icons at the beginning tell you, if it's a tag, if it's just data, if it's a drop down, if it's a date. And, I've used a good number of the different options. So there are a few that I didn't. But, so you'll see that throughout. So here I'm changing this to contact person or contact information. Some of the companies are pretty closely guarded about who you would be contacting directly, and some put it out there. So I just want to include both options. Here's where I'm keeping the website, the emails, and or the addresses. I'm going to change it around because it looked like website email address, but it could be the physical address. I try to include as much information as the company is willing to give me. I feel like that's just a good practice. I may not use it, but at least I won't have to go looking for it. This notes column is, some companies put out a lot as far as specs, how they will accept submissions, what they're looking for. They won't open attachments. Some want an attachment, some want PDFs, some want JPEG. And I put that all in the notes. And also, if it's under the other category, then I could specify what the other is. This is the column that convinced me of Google Tables to use it. And that is that I can integrate documents directly into the table. So it's drag and drop, you just drag it. You have to get in that little gray space, which can be a little tricky, but it's not too bad. But you can just integrate it in, click on it, and it'll take you to that document. It downloads it, and it'll open in a new window. And that's just so helpful to have. Some companies have downloadable PDFs that give you their specs, so to just throw that right in there is so helpful. There's a contacted column where I can just check off whether or not I've contacted them. This is another drop down that gives me the method of contact, whether it's, email, through their website. And this is, so my understanding is, this is a follow-up, it's the calendar. My understanding is that this will integrate in with my calendar. I use Google Calendars. And so my understanding is it will actually set a reminder. So if I say I contacted this person, on June 10th, and I want to follow up with them on, July 15th, I can set that and it will set a reminder and ping me when it is time to contact them, which I have a little more figuring out to do, but if that's the case, that is amazing. This last column is just when it was last updated. It has its place, I'm sure. It lets me know, if I've updated or not. I leave it there. Uh, we'll see if I find it really useful. This is how you would add a new column. You just obviously click add new column there. You label it. You could select your format. If you click person, and here it is, I'm actually going to look it up to make sure I understand. I was told that this is what it was, but I wasn't sure it had them. If you know another person using Google Tables, you can actually add them. And so if you do this as a column, you can add an individual person, and this will integrate that row, so the horizontal row, into their table. At the top, you'll actually see here in a minute are relationships, and that is if you want to share the entire table, is my understanding. I could be wrong. Now this, I think, will be a useful option, which is a checklist. So here, I really think, the contacted, maybe I could, improve upon that column. And so I think the checklist might be how to do it, which is initial contact, submission, and then follow up. And here you can see as you click the check boxes off, it will turn green when you've done all three. So that might be better than the initial contacted column over there, but we will see. Up here, it is my understanding that you can integrate forms into these tables. So if you create a Google form, have people fill it out, then that data will come directly into the table, and then, in whatever way that you're using it. And then you see the relationship if you need to integrate someone else into the entire table. But I mean, to me, it seems like the possibilities are really endless. This is how I'm using it for the business side of things. I have lots of stuff to do. So, education, Instagram, website, every area that I have work to do, I can put that there. This was just a standard table. This was the first one I used. It was an example from Google, and I kind of changed the data into mine, and that's how I learned to use this. So I actually have a lot that I would need to change about that. So here's an example of what I would do. So this is Ellie and Liv. They're a wedding stationery company. I've already kind of gone through their website. I'm not someone who works in the wedding stationery sort of arena. That's not my style. I don't really know how to approach it. But so I already know this company is not for me, so this is just an example. So you see there the contact page. So what I would do is I would start by putting the name of the company here in the company field. Product area, obviously they are stationary. And then the contact information, contact person. So under contact, there's not really any information of who you would contact, but you come over here and you see seems to be the person who, started the company, and she has some information about herself. So her name's Simone, so I'm going to put that over here as well. Next, the email, website, or address. So, I put that in there. It's just a website, but sometimes they'll have like info at Ellie and Liv .com or somewhere where you submit, and I would put that in there as well, or their actual physical address, because it is shaping up that I may actually send physical portfolios out to some people if I cannot find the information. So over here, some companies have very specifics on how they want you to submit your samples, whether they be PDFs. Some will not open attachments, some do open attachments. So I put that here for this particular company. I probably include that they are a wedding stationery company, and that would help me understand why I ruled them out at a quick glance, because wedding stationery is just not for me. Now, some of you may be wondering, why are you even including them? Well, maybe down the road, I decide wedding stationery is for me. They also don't appear to license, so, maybe down the road they are a licensing option and it would be a good fit. But for right now, it's just not a good fit for me, and that's why I'm using that as an example. Here you see if they had any documents I could attach it. If I've contacted them, I would use that. And then this, this is after I start contacting people, which I am not yet there yet. So over here, I'm going to go ahead and select that this company is just not for me, for a variety of reasons. And that's okay. Sometimes a company won't be for you, and it's better to aim your efforts at companies that you feel like you have the best chance with, I feel. I also don't think that the Ellie and Liv accept submissions. I think this lady here does the design work all on her own, or maybe they have on staff, but there was no indication that they use any outside design work. So over here, I'm going to LinkedIn. This is my LinkedIn page. I'm not a fan of LinkedIn, but I think it's a necessary element to doing freelance work. I know a lot of people are on it. So if you type in Simone, you type in Ellie and Liv, and you find that individual there. So this is a public profile, so this is available to anyone. You might have to have a LinkedIn account, but this is just information that's out there. It's not, it's not like I'm going in there and finding any personal information that she hasn't put out there herself. So what's useful is some people don't put anything in their about page. Some people will put a lot of stuff in there. So you can see some of the places she's worked. You can see her education and her skills. And this could be just useful, even though I say, hey, this company is not for me. Maybe, I make a connection. Maybe sometime in the future I'm at a trade show or I have an opportunity to connect with this woman and I say, hey, you have beautiful stationery and, I'd love to pick your brain or, whatever. And which is the purpose of LinkedIn, is making those connections. So it can be quite useful, this site. And down here you can see their experiences. You can see wherever she has worked and explore those companies as well. And that could be, useful information, not just about this person, but, personally, I've never heard of this company. Let me go learn more about them. And then here they have volunteer experience. So if you have, if they volunteer with dogs, you own a dog, you like dogs, that could be a connection point between you and someone else. So that is that profile there. So I just really think that this is a very useful product. It could be something that can really help get you organized, keeps everything in the same place, and I am happy to share it with you. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, leave them down below, and if you want to, you can subscribe. That would be super awesome. All right, thanks.